All right, guys. I said I was going to talk about Nature Boy um today again, but I decided I wanted to, dive into something kind of deep because the thing is I was watching again, I was reading um and watching something on Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, of course. Again, I say this Ramadan maybe I guess it could be it could be Allah that's kind of like saying, hey, you gotta you have to dig deeper than you have been digging with Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba. Because when it came down to it, I guess you can say I was um a avid reader of his kaside, his casitas, you know, um especially if there was like a pressing need or something like that. And of course, his casitas are, prayers that have, the great benefit to you. And so, yeah, if, there's a pressing need or something, that's when you read them, you know. And I guess for whatever reason, like now I just wanted, I just feel compelled to dive deeper, with him. The thing is about him is that I want to say he was the friend of the Quran. He was also the master of the Quran. So anything that I looked at him, I looked at it produced nothing but good. You understand? So this is why I like stayed the course. And this is why I'm staying the course when it comes to this Ramadan. And inshallah, it'll pay off, inshallah. But what I want to talk about is the fact that unfortunately people opposed him. And he was just trying to do the right thing. He was just trying to reform his society. He saw a lot of social ills in his society. So he wanted to reform it. And the way he wanted to reform it was just the tradition of the Kitab and the Sunnah. But apparently, the French didn't like that. So the French caused him a lot of problems, right? As a matter of fact, a lot of I'm going to compare it and contrast his episode with what goes on in the Western world today. So what happened was, of course, the French didn't like him. The French despised him. And, they try all types of plots to kill him, do all types of things like that. Um, but of course, it didn't pay off. Of course, he came out on the other side. Of course, he built a city. So it didn't really pay off. Now, in in terms of in terms of like what types of things the French did, they did a lot of things. They just did everything in their power to like break his spirit, mocking him, just all types of things. Um the thing is at the time during colonialism, here's the thing, and this is what I think this is where some of us are going to relate. I know I relate. Is that during the time of uh during the time of colonialism, it seemed like that he was the only one that that the French were after when it came to sheikhs, when it came to teachers, when it came to like the knowledge of the religion and what have you. It seems like he was the only one in which they were after for some reason. I don't know why, but it really did seem like that. Now, the thing is that he never conformed to the French. That was the whole thing. That was the whole issue. Is that he never conformed to the French. He never wanted to engage in the debauchery in which the French were trying to impose on his land. in the name of civilization, in the name of a civilizing mission, because you have to understand something. Um, During that time, that's what unfortunately part of colonialism was about, was that they were just looking to I want to say just go on a quote unquote civilizing mission, but it really wasn't a civilizing mission at all. It was really it was really kind of like a an imposing mission, when it comes to the French. It was an imposing mission. And that's what every colonizer, don't let them fool you. Don't let them ever tell you that colonialization was good. Um, because if in my opinion, in my personal opinion, colonialization didn't even have to take place, in my opinion. What could have taken place is that what could have taken place is that we could have traded with those places, and then if there was a need for experts in certain fields, then yeah, we could have we could have got those experts in those certain fields, but it was not that at all. And that was the whole problem with um colonialism. you know it pretty much said, I want to say, it set Africa back. I mean, I guess the only possible good thing that came out of it, if you want to if you want to call it good, um the only good thing that came out of colonialism is that it made Africans multilingual. That's the only thing. Not saying that we weren't multilingual already, but I guess it made them exposed to I guess it made them exposed to eh, new new languages that maybe they normally wouldn't be exposed to. I guess that's the only thing that came good out of colonialism, you know. That's the only thing. So with that being said, right? While there were and don't get it twisted, there were Shayuk that disagreed with the colonial service, but they conformed to it. Okay, they conformed to it because of the simple fact they didn't want to be compromised. Although they were compromised already, they didn't want to be further compromised. That was the whole situation. Okay, that's the thing. So this is why they conform to colonialism. Okay, do I think it was a good thing that they conformed? No, because I believe in my head that if although the colonizer did have modern weaponry and what have you, I believe that there is strength in numbers. So I believe that if they decided to, armed resistance could work because we've seen it work before. It worked in IAT, but unfortunately, we know that IAT is just going through so much, and hopefully that situation it gets better, seriously, because it's going through a lot. I cannot even lie. IAT is really going through it. But anyhow, um the thing is, the colonizer, right, made them conform, but they didn't necessarily like what was being done. They didn't necessarily want to have this rule, of course. So I'm going to swing it back around and say that, for example, how does this relate with what's going on today? The way it relates with what's going on today is in the fact that in the fact that basically um while there may be some good women, right? While there may be some good women, while there may be some good women who are, you know, not available, of course, because they've been snatched up already, they may not like what's going on, right? With the whole, which is everything basically, the whole setup, with the relationship dynamics um between men and women and what have you. Like many people don't like that. Um, but this is what it is. And the thing is if they speak out about it, right, then they're going to be ostracized, they're going to be criticized, they're going to be singled out. They're going to be, of course, they're going to use the P word, which is pick me and things like that. And that is just something that maybe perhaps they don't want to subjugate themselves to, you know. That's the thing. That's the thing about it. And so this is why they decide not to engage, you know. This is why they decide to keep quiet, right? So this is yeah, this is it in a nutshell, and this is why the problems are persisting the way they are, you know. That's the thing. So with that being said, right? Um with with these things being said, there was one sheikh that reached out to Ahmed Bamba. He wrote a letter while he was in exile. And the thing is, Sheikh Ahmed Bamba, he was in exile twice. He was first in exile in Gabon, and that was like 7 years of exile. And then the second time he was exiled is he was exiled into his ancestral homeland, which is Mauritania. The scholars of the order say that originally his lineage goes back to Mauritania. So yeah, but the thing is, what they were hoping while the French were kicking in Mauritania, what the French were hoping, they were actually hoping that um, because Mauritania, it was known for having knowledgeable people, it was known for having like knowledgeable scholars, it was known for having scholars of high repute who knew all the Islamic sciences, basically, right? What they were actually hoping, though, is that him being a black man and the Mauritanians being considered in the African sense, or at least in the Sahelian sense. Yeah, I'll say that in the Sahelian sense. In the Sahelian sense, they're considered white, right? So they thought that this black man was not going to be able to like compete with them in terms of knowledge, but he did compete with them in terms of knowledge to a point where it got to a point actually where there were people who wanted to go back to synagogue with him when he was when they actually let him go back. You know, there were actual like so many of the there were so many people that wanted to follow him there back to back to synagogue, I should say. You know, and that's just a testament of his level. And we call level maqam in Islam. Yeah, we call it maqam. So with that being said, right, with these facts being said, it goes to show you that even them, right, they were under the colonial yoke, but they didn't like being under the colonial yoke. So that's why his cohort wrote him and said, "Hey, you know, just just try to stay chill, just try to chill out, just try to, I guess, do what they say, as they say, you know." So that's what was happening at that time. Now, what I want to say though is that one of his cohorts said something about the French. He said that the French were inspired by shaytaan because they always try to plot these things. They try to kill him. I said 286 times. Okay. This was actually really happening. They try to kill him that many times. And so you have to be inspired by shaitan to actually want to do that, right? So, with that being said, yes, I want to get into I want to get into the fact that when you look at it, it seems like modern women are inspired by the shaitan because of their actions, because of the out egregious things that they say. When you listen to them talk, you're wondering, are they even having in control any control of themselves? Like you wonder, you know, if they are having that or not. And it seems like that they're not. Every day something new is coming up. And I'm just going to place some of these things to because the thing is the sheikh, right? May Allah have mercy on him. He always said in his writings and just through everything, just through his tarbiyah and through his I want to say the way that he showed himself to be and what he was calling his students to. He um emphasized struggling with yourself, you know, struggling with certain characteristics that may not be good in yourself. He himself had to endure that struggle. You know, he writes it all the time about how he had to go through that struggle. You know what I mean? So this is what I'm saying about this whole situation is you and this is what this is like honestly what the core of Ramadan is really about is the struggle of self, you know, and it's not just the struggle of self from eating or drinking, it's the struggle of self from the other things too, you know, the struggle of self from unhealthy addictions, right? The struggle of self against you know, having saying things that maybe you shouldn't say in terms of your mouth, you know, how they say, hey, watch your mouth. You know, that's the other struggle that we need to speak of. That's the deeper struggle. And so that's what the sheikh was really calling to, was that struggle. Okay. Was that self-awareness, was that polished character. Okay. That's what he was calling us to do, right? And let me find the hadith, right? I'm gonna find the hadith that the Prophet alayhi salatu salam, that's what he was that's what he said, you know. Hold on. Okay, let me find it. Okay, here's the hadith. I'm gonna read the whole hadith, okay? Oh well, let me, man, hold on. Let me find out where I can read it again. Okay, I'll read this hadith. Um, so it says, and this is short hadith, okay? But it says, An Malik, Anna Rasulullahi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Kala bu'ithatu li utami ma husna akhlaq. So what he said is that he's been sent to perfect good character. So the thing is about that is that that's something that we have to strive for. That's something that we have to go for, you know, is that. But when you look at the modern woman, I really don't know if they really want to have good character. You know, I really don't know if, you know, and to be honest, it would be easier for them to have good character than it would for us to have good character. And the reason being is in this world, right? Let's just be honest, men aren't allowed to, quote unquote, how should I put it? Men aren't allowed to show any signs of weakness. You know what I mean? But if, like, for example, a woman said that like if a woman, for example, expressed her like expressed her let me see. If she expressed her weakness, her vulnerability, then the world would basically um you know, the world will understand, right? But a lot of times women don't want to, you know, admit these things. So what, without further ado, right? There I'm just gonna start and go and review certain things, and I'm gonna compare and contrast, inshallah, and maybe I will play some more things in regards to Serene Tuba and actually show you like some of the schemes that the French were trying to do to him. You know, all because he was struggling to have good character. You know, when you look through his writings, that's all he talking about. You know, I'll just give you an example, which I'm actually exercising every day, and it's bothering people in the real life. It's bothering people to the point where people are accusing me of things that I didn't even do. That's why I have to get out. Um, so he said, devote yourself to silence by the reservation that you will be enlightened. That's just one of the things he said. Okay. The other thing he said, um, is I recommend you practice silence, patience, and abstinence to show gentleness while seeking for knowledge, and always look for better understanding. Like this was some of his advice he gave us to do, and that's why I'm like trying my best to incorporate, right? Now, you tell this to a woman, and then a modern woman, then it's going to be like, "Oh, you can't tell me to shut up. Oh, you can't tell me what to do. I'm strong and independent." And really it's like advice that's beneficial. You're actually trying to help, but of course, they've been told that they know everything. They've been told that they're smarter than us. They've been told that they're holier than thou and everything like that. That is it's impossible. It's actually impossible. Now, I want to read something that was on my IG. There was a post, and then I'm gonna go into some reactions. But there was a post that they were talking about like a dinner date or something. And and they were talking about a man that can't afford. Like if a man can't pay for the date, then he shouldn't ask for a date, right? So I responded, right? I responded, it's not about being able to pay for the date, it's about being used for a date, you know. So this one woman said, "Well, you clearly don't have enough money to be used. Stay home, sir, until you can afford to date." So she even said, like out of her own mouth, that that's what we're there for, is to be used. That's what she essentially said, that we're just, I guess, yeah, to be we're there to be used. Now, there's something else that I want to bring to your attention. Um, this was actually said, this was actually sent to me right now. Now, listen to this, okay? I want you to listen. Hold on. Okay. I guess it I guess it's not I guess it's not a a a guy talking, but what it said, right? It said that a woman was too bright for prison, so she wasn't given prison for stabbing her boyfriend. And so you have to ask yourself, was she really stabbing him? Like we don't know the circumstances of her stabbing him, right? We don't know. But I was even sent a video earlier today on my WhatsApp. Um, Let me see if I can share my screen. And I'm going to show you this video. Hold on. Let me actually download it. Give me 1 second. I'm going to actually download this video because it goes to show you, or it goes in the face if these modern women are inspired by the shaitan. May Allah protect us from that. Hold on, let me see. Let me see. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Let me download this video. Okay. So I'm gonna show you guys this video, and then just gonna show that these women are becoming now increasingly more violent, and you wonder, do they even believe in God? You have to ask yourself, do they even believe in God, or do they even have a God consciousness? This is what I need to like ask. It'll take too long to go into it'll take too long to go into some like works of Serene Tuba about this. But even Serene Tuba said, you know, and maybe he was trying to tell her something when he said this. We have our dowry or bride price in Islam when you're wanting to marry a woman, and usually it can be different things, but nowadays, like, women want money, of course. Like, that's usually what they want is money. So, with that being said, in the West, they want a lot of money. So, with that being said, right? Um, he said in a poem, he said this in one of his casitas. He said basically that he paid the dowry for the virgins of paradise, and he said that dowry was taqwa, meaning being God fearing. Walaikum salam rahmatullah. And he said that was like staying away from the bad. So I guess that's something we have to look at it from those lenses when um man, I'm just doing what I can, like pre pre iftar kind of like talk basically. But yeah, he said that that was his dowry to the virgins of paradise was being fearful of God, and was staying away from strange women, because that's one thing too that the French try to do. They try to seduce him with women, but he wasn't having that. And so I think that's a lesson to be learned here, that even if the modern woman does try to entertain you, just stay far away, because I feel like they're all gone, in my opinion. Yeah, I'm not going to say I feel, I'm just going to say I think they're all gone. And those who aren't all gone, they may disagree, but they're afraid of the kickback that they will receive for speaking back, for disagreeing. um So let me try to share my screen real quick, and I'll show you guys what happened. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen, and this was on a New York subway, okay? And what happened is that boy the boyfriend and the girlfriend, though. The boyfriend and the girlfriend jumped in, and the girlfriend actually stabbed this guy in the back, okay? The girlfriend actually did. And one thing led to a other. But let's look at it. Okay. I don't know how the fight started, but let's look at this. Let me share my screen. All right, here we go. So if you listen, he's saying, "You stabbed me? You stabbed me in the back? You stabbed me?" If you listen closely.
Get him off him. Get him. Get him off of him. I'm behind you, bro. Come on. Get him off of him.
So you can see the blood dripping down his back. If you look closely, you can see the blood coming out of his back. So one thing that shaitan likes to do, okay, since shaitan is the great deceiver, one thing shaitan likes to do is he likes to like edge you into something, right? And then once he edges you into something, he'll sit back and say, "Well, it wasn't me who did it. You know, I wasn't responsible for that. You know, I simply suggested it, but it wasn't me who did it." So when you look at this woman, you know, she stabbed the dude in the back, but now she's talking as if like, "Oh, I didn't do anything wrong. It wasn't me who did something wrong." You know, that's how she's speaking. Now let's look.
So you stab me, I'm not beating you up. I'm not beating you up when you get up. I got you. I'm bleeding. I'm bleeding. You stab me. I got you. That's a shot, but that's still up. I ain't doing nothing.
So you hear her, right? She's saying that like she didn't do nothing, but it's obvious that she did stab dude, you know? So look at how dude reacts. Look at how reacts.
Look at lock. You interfering with a man. You don't, it don't bleed. I got you.
She said I didn't do nothing. Um I and this guy is like you're interfering with what a man's doing, right?
You stab me, right? You stab me, right? You stab me. You stab me.
So the thing is look, another thing that like another thing that shaitan does is he'll get you to do things without you thinking about the consequences of those actions, you know. um and that's the one thing that Serene Tuba taught us about, that you have to use mental discernment. You have to think about these things. But a lot of modern women, when you look at it, they don't even think about what they're doing before they do it. They just do it. And so she wasn't thinking about what she was doing before she was doing it. And this is what happened.
You stab me. I ain't doing nothing. No.
That's what he pulls
You
out.
stab me.
That's what he pulls out. That's what he pulls out.
No, I'm got it now. I'm got it now.
Now, you know, he only has like a little Glock 9. You know, it's a little pistol, but you know, he's probably the only one who has, and that's surprising to me, because if I was on the subway, I would have my protector. I would have both of my protectors on me actually. But the you know, the other protector I'm not going to even get into. That's for another day, another time. But I would have the protector that he has right now. But it's causing a melee, it's causing chaos and things like that because he pulls out a gun, and guess what happens.
I'm got it now. So, get that one way down, baby. Let me out! 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 Let me out!
So you know how they say there's that one saying that all of this happened over a itch, right? Lo and behold, it happened over a itch, right? Now, the thing is he deleted both of them, okay? He not only deleted the man, but he also deleted the woman too. And I hate to say it, But chances are he probably is not going to get prosecuted because of the simple fact that if he's stabbed, that could be looked at as self-defense. Like, oh yeah, he's just defending himself. That's the whole thing about this situation, you know. But who started this situation? The woman did. She stabbed him. And I guess, again, more women are thinking that they can square up with men. More women are thinking that they are men. And, that's one of the deceptions of shaitan is he makes you believe that kind of logic, right? So again, yeah, this is a all bad uh that's a all bad situation, because that guy, he probably thought the guy who did this, he probably thought of himself as trying to look tough for his girlfriend, not realizing that not everybody plays that, you know. So that's why he got like deleted, right? So let me go ahead and go to another video I came across, and I'm wondering if they are you know inspired by shaitan. I really wonder that sometime. On a deeper spiritual level, I really wonder, are these women is the modern woman inspired by shaitan? Not even on like a physical like type level, but just on a like okay, you have the exoteric, which is like the outside, and then you have the esoteric, which is the inside. And I'm wondering, like, in terms of the esoteric matter, are they really living with demons that that they don't care about and that they use as allies? I'm really wondering this. Now let's go to this video and see more to my point. Let me see. Let me find it. Let me find the video. Okay, let's see. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Okay, right here.
It's hard. The world is ready. Come join the action and study for a film degree with us. Either at
After her dad was hospitalized. Would you date a girl who's on OnlyFans?
No.
Why?
But I respect the hustle though. But couldn't be for no, that's not me, but I respect the hustle.
What if she was on OnlyFans after her dad was hospitalized and she has to pay the hospital bills?
I don't know. Am I already in a relationship with this woman?
Yes.
So what I want to say though is that a lot of a lot of these women, right? Because they love Shaitan so much, I think that they're actually just looking forward to doing OnlyFans. You know, I think they do. I think that's the thing. They actually looking forward to it because listen to her.
Oh my god, that's tough.
He's in the hospital.
He's in the hospital. We got free. We got healthcare though. You know what I mean? We're in Canada. Is he not fine? If we were in America, different story, man.
Okay, you're in America. I'm just.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. She's a 10, but she can't cook.
Oh, that's tough. I mean, wow, that's tough.
It's quite amusing, isn't it? The length some women will go to justify having an OnlyFans account or engaging in other questionable activities. It's almost comical how women will contort themselves into pretzels to justify other women's OnlyFans accounts or
Justifying corn too, like justifying corn, justifying all types of stuff, man. Justifying all these things. And I'm just saying that the women of the Prophet's time, alayhi salatu salam, the and even contemporary Muslim times, listen, I'm going to tell you something. If our mothers, if our mothers are were if our mothers were, for example, and what I mean are our mothers, I mean the mothers of the believers. If our mothers of the believers were walking this earth right now, whether it be Sayyidia Aisha too, whether it be Fatimata, whether it be Salamatu, if they were walking this earth right now, I would say a good, like, 99% of modern women will hate their guts because they would not be playing this. They would be like, what the heck are y'all doing? Okay. I'm telling you, they would. Heck, even if Sayyidia Virgin Mariama was walking this earth, she was, yo, she would be on that same type of time too. She would not want to be bothered with these women. She would lock herself in a room or somewhere.
Questionable choices. Let's be real. There's not a single conceivable universe where a woman has an OnlyFans account because her dad is in the hospital. We all know why women have OnlyFans accounts, and it's not for some noble cause. This kind of behavior is exactly why men are increasingly wary of dating women.
What I can appreciate about Passport Bros is I think it's an effective flag being raised for Western women as well. I'm not necessarily saying that they're going to find someone. I'm not saying that they're not.
You will find someone. Trust me, you will. Okay. And it's not a flag being raised for women, right? That's the thing. It's not a flag because listen, even when the passport bros thing started, it still didn't make women like do nothing. They just continued. If anything, it made them worse. It made them worse. It actually showed, it actually showed the world how much how really they are. You know, it actually made things worse.
Not going to get screwed over. I'm not even necessarily saying that I would encourage men to go do it. Like you said, if you want to, cool. The motivation for it is the fact that men are still expected to act very traditionally. They're expected to be very chivalrous. They're expected to be protectors. Maybe they're not expected to provide to the.
I actually wouldn't say that. I actually wouldn't say that they're expected to be those things here, because the thing is like, a lot of times when you look at who the women are sleeping with, okay, they're sleeping with bottom shelf people, you know, but these bottom shelf people, what they have is looks. You know what I mean? That's just basically it, you know.
Same extent now that women can essentially match them on income. But if that's what a man's duty to you is, to be chivalrous, it's very, very loosely defined what a woman's duty to a man is.
Very ambiguous.
And that is why I think they go to places where they are actually taught from a young age how to treat a man. What is your duty to a man?
You go find a wife in the Philippines or Thailand or wherever these places are that are overseas. They're just happy to be rescued from their poverty stricken life.
That in and of
And so here's the thing about shaytaan. Let me read a verse about shaytaan. Let me read a verse about shaytaan. Okay, and this goes to my point of what I'm saying. If they are like, if they are, I want to say, if you know they are inspired by shaitan. Let me read a verse in the Quran in regards to this. Okay, hold on. Let her finish and then I'll read the verse. Hold on. Okay, let's listen to it real quick.
itself is racist. You see how quick the claws come out? The bitterness, the seething anger, triggered that passport bros are finding happiness in foreign lands because she can't do the same.
Ladies, we are so funny. We're like, it's not hard to date us. I just need you to be obsessed with me, but you, not like too obsessed with me. You definitely need to call and text me every day, but you're one text away from being a literal stalker. I need you to make plans to hang out with me, but not too many plans. Like, do you have a life of your own? Ew. I need you to be financially independent and know how to make money, but not like too obsessed with money. You know what I mean? I want you to have such a good relationship with your mom, but like definitely why are you on the phone with her so much?
So they're the master of confusion, basically. As you see, and in our tradition, they actually call shaytaan the great deceiver. They actually call him that.
It's a red flag if you talk shit about your ex-girlfriend, but like don't talk about her too much. Like, are you obsessed with her? I definitely want cute gifts every now and then, but you can't buy my love. Like, come on.
And you can see the tattoos on her biceps, by the way. So she talking about like red flags. Yeah, that's a red flag.
I need you to be like a raging feminist, but also like super manly and masculine at the same point in time. Like hang my TV up on the wall, but also know that I can do it myself, you know?
Western men, if you need to be this guy or this guy just to date one of these women, you probably need one of these.
Surefire way to push a sex worker away, specifically like the ones of us that like do content and shit, like.
So, like, honestly, like, would you really want to have a woman like this have a deep voice and things like that? But I want to get back to hold on, let me see. I want to get back to something. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Okay, here. Let me see. Let me see if this succubus, this banshee, can actually do it.
Oh, like, come on, let's talk about this. Women in other countries, poorer countries, will date a man from the United States because they feel like the US dollar is golden. You can't pull that shit on women who live in the United States because we already know that $30,000 a year that you make sucks. Okay, in the United States, that shit may look like $1 billion in Brazil or the Dominican Republic or some shit. But try that shit here with a woman if you want to. That's $0 in the mind of these women. These women want these six-figure dudes. Oh, like,
Okay, so now I can read the Quran. Okay, so the verse in the Quran is referring to shaitan, and this is when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created Adam alayhi salam. By the way, if you think Islam is an anti-black religion, then why would Allah create Adam out of black clay? If he alayhi salam, if Islam was a anti-black religion, why would he create Adam alayhi salam out of black clay? Now, the thing is that Allah taught Adam everything in the world, right? And the angel, he taught Adam all the names in the world, alayhi salam. And the angels made sujood to Adam, but shaitan did not make sujood to Adam. And Allah asked Allah said, Kala mana'aka illa tashjuda ila amratuka. Okay, he basically asked them, like, what prevented you from prostrating when I commanded you to? This is what Shaitan responded. He said, Kala ana khairu minhum kalaktani min nar wa kalaktahu min tain. Meaning, I I am better than he is. You created me from fire and him from clay. So when you hear these modern women talking about like foreign women and talking down on them, they're basically saying that they're better than them because they live in a certain demographic area. They live in a certain geographical area. You know, that's why. And so they're saying that okay, we're better than them, and we're better than them because we demand more. Okay, we're better than them because we have, you know, I guess a modern, what they consider like a modern society in which they live in, or they're better than them because they live in a quote unquote first world country. So in essence, what they're saying is in essence what they're saying is that, you know, it kind of goes back to what shaytaan said about Adam. You know, he said, oh, I'm better than Adam because I was created from fire, and Adam alayhi salam, or we call him Adamu in our language, or Adama. Essentially, he was saying that because he was made from fire and Adama alayhi salam was made from clay, um, that he was better. And so it's the same kind of dynamic when you look at the modern woman who says that, oh, you know, she was born there, she was born barefooted, struggling and things like that. I'm better than her, you know. I'm better than her because I want a guy who makes insane amount of money. That's what essentially they're saying when they do this, you know. But there was another video I wanted to show. Let me see if I can find it. And also, yeah. This is a video I want to go over too. Because in Africa, like even Africans, um, even Africans, we don't play with this because we know, we we know that if you play with this kind of thing, you're gonna get in trouble. Okay, you're gonna get hurt. So we don't play with it. Okay, here we go.
I started praying to shrines because I thought that was the right thing to do, reclaiming my roots, dressing.
So you see this, right? And that's the biggest sin in the Quran. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that you're not supposed to be associating partners with him, you know, and you know that's something that we don't do. We don't do shirk, but yet you see her praying to shrines. Okay? There's a difference between, listen, yeah, I want to make this clear. There's a difference between praying to God at a grave or praying to God at a shrine, actually praying to God, not actually praying to the one God. There's a difference between that and actually praying to the shrine, actually praying to the grave. She was praying to the shrine, to the grave. Let's see what happens.
In African apparel, as we're supposed to do, bowing to African gods, believing in African gods, and that all of it is temporary. All of it is a scam. I was living with devils.
First, I want to send a big shout out to my sister here and her partner, the DIY Housing Firm. So if you're here for the first time, kindly with Mother Africa, and let's build her.
I wanted to.
The sad thing is that this brother, he's kind of like I'm just gonna call another African brother out. I'm just gonna call him out. He's a grifter. I hate to say it, but he's grifting to these women who are doing these things. He's grifting. That's the thing. He's grifting. He knows he's grifting.
To come to Ghana to do business, and I wanted to travel all of the African countries in peace and quietness, just like the rest of them. Yeah. Did it happen? Some of it. I started eating all kinds of foods and drinking all kinds of drink that maybe I should not have.
So she probably ate that bush meat. That's the thing. She probably ate that bush meat. I wouldn't be surprised if she ate that bush meat. Um, you again, bush meat can make you sick. Bush meat can give you viruses. Bush meat can do all of those type of things. But they and that's another trait of shaitan. Shaitan will allow you to shaitan will control you to a point where you don't even you just lose control, basically. But let's continue.
I started paying for things that I maybe should not have. I started praying to shrines because I thought that was the right thing to do, reclaiming my roots, dressing in African apparel as we're supposed to do, bowing to African gods, believing in African gods. Completely abandoning who I knew myself to be, because in America, they tell us that we are no people, that we don't know ourselves. We're just these slaves that, we don't know nothing, and we have to come back.
So again, like I hate when they do that kind of crap, because if you've been in America for a certain amount of time, because America essentially is even no man's land. America is a settler colony. When you really think about America, America is just a settler colony, bro. Because when you understand the simple fact that the natives were here, we saw what the Anglos did to those natives. Then the Anglos decided to import, you know, us Africans into America for free labor. That became mixed up. Then you have other influx of immigrants and things like that. Bro, America is nothing but a settler colony. Okay. And then you have to also throw in the fact that a lot of these places, for example, like Miami, like New Mexico, like Texas, like Arizona, like Los Angeles, okay, these were also inhabited by Spaniards. So again, America is a settler colony. It just is unfortunate that the people that I dislike hold the power. The people the yeah, the the same color, the people who are the same color as the French, the British, the Portuguese, and the Germans, who I dislike hold the power, unfortunately. But I'm not going to get too much into detail about that.
Back to Africa to find ourselves. Some of you don't know this, but I was actually robbed during broad daylight, thrown out in the street after someone came crashing into my room. See, that predicament actually began by a very naive American who sent me there. That whole occurrence that everyone saw publicly, this is the thing, I'm not placing the blame. It's just that I would never send myself to harm. It's just that sometimes we as Americans, we lead ourselves into places that we don't know because we've never been there. We never experienced it.
Well, that's what comes from, that you have to research about the place you go to. that you have to read and what have you. So that's the thing. Yeah, you have to research.
So yeah, I was one of those who was robbed during daylight. I can laugh now because I got through it. This American that led me there had never been there, is a leader for many that are going to those same shrines that I was going to. This American that led me to where I went and found my demise also led so many other Americans here to Ghana, to the shrines, to pray.
So I want to say that that's one thing too. Shaitan will lead you astray. So I don't know if it's an American woman who did this, but you know, leading people astray is one of the things that Shaitan will do. And I see that a lot of modern women, the older generation, even the younger generation, and even the generation that's coming after the younger generation, they're leading all of them astray. You know, they're leading all of them astray.
Pray to get divinations, to correct their illnesses, to be healed of this and that, to find money, to bring their families together, all this and that. All of it is temporary. All of it is a scam. I was living with devils, people that don't have God. And I was one of them because I believed things outside of myself. I thought I
So she actually admitted that she was a devil. You know, at least she admits that she was a devil.
was supposed to come reclaim the heritage. Like, guys, I'm just getting started. I'm not even there yet. I'm just getting started. Total abandonment of self, total abandonment of everything I knew myself to be for shrines, for a spiritual system that's not even helping the African people. So if you ever wonder, like, why is there underdevelopment in some areas? Why is the thinking like this? Why is that Africa needs to get it together? Africa, they need to get united. If you want to know why it hasn't happened yet, I am sharing with you why it has not happened yet.
This was definitely a
The reason why it's not happening is because your country is not allowing it to happen. That's why. But we're getting there though. We're kicking y'all out. You know, I'm glad. Shout outs to Niger kicking the U.S. military out, kicking the people that I don't like out. You know, I'm thankful that I'm actually from that region of Africa. That I'm actually from the Sahel. You know, I'm very very thankful for that. But it does not. Again, it does not make me better than anybody. Because at the end of the day, we all descend from Adam. Okay, that's where we descend from. We descend from the original man. So
who they now have a life together and a beautiful life in their Ghanaian rural place, growing together, building something together that really is what emulate.
okay, no, I'm not emulating anything that Keisha does. Okay, I'm not. I'm not doing. Yeah, she got what she was looking for. She got what she was looking for exactly. She got what she was looking for. You know, that's the thing. She definitely got what she was looking for. But again, you saw that she was playing with fire, you know, and it seems like that she enjoyed actually like getting into the fire. Now I want to go to the modern Muslim woman who I hate to say it, but you know, us we're supposed to have a good opinion of all Muslims. That's what we're supposed to do. But they're not really giving us any reason to have good opinions. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. So let's listen to him. It's not going to stop, though. That's the thing. It's not going to stop.
There are massive, gender wars going on, not just in broader society, but within our own communities, and frankly, between our brothers and our sisters. And
And who started it, though? Who started it? Who started it? Who started it?
To me, looking at it as, inshallah, a community leader and an older person than the ones that are usually talking amongst themselves, it doesn't bode well for a community when their men and their women have.
We know that. We know that. Okay, we know that.
So much angst and irritation against each other. It just doesn't bode well for the future. And we need to address these topics. Now, again, I might not have all the solutions, but unless we engage, unless we hear the other, we're not going to proceed. I mean, how does any peace begin? With peace talks? You come to the table and you.
He said peace talks. That's all bad. That's how you know it's really bad. That's how you know it's really, really bad. That's how you know it's bad. Okay. This is how you know it's really bad, where he's actually telling you you have to come to the table. You know? Let me see if I can find a Muslim woman podcast so you can see what they talk about us, you know? Hold on, let me see. Because they do have these podcasts and they just be bashing us. Oh, yeah, this is the podcast where they just bash us. They just bash us so badly, bro. I looked at it. I looked at it like for like a couple of let me see. Here we go.
موتناش الصاروخ بده يموتنا الجوع. احنا بالنسبه لنا في الخيم مش عايشين عيشه.
Sisters are finding their voice, they're speaking up about certain issues, about certain topics, and then they're being labeled as being feminists.
Okay, name those. Name those issues. That's what I want to know. Name those issues. Name them.
And taking things to an extreme. So this is what we want to discuss today. And we've received that, right? By simply being on camera as Muslim.
Okay, so one thing I want you to notice about all of them is most of them are going to have the septum rings, which is a telltale case that most of the time they are feminists. Even if you see, like, for example, in my culture, yeah, the women, they wear big gold earrings. Okay, that's a cultural thing. Sometimes they do wear the the scepter ring, but that's like tradition. But you'll see a Muslim woman from an Arab Muslim woman, you'll see a Pakistani Muslim woman, you'll see an African Muslim woman, you'll see a Latin convert, you'll see a Anglo convert, and they'll all be wearing the septum ring, which tells you one thing, okay? Feminists.
Muslim believing women talking candidly and openly about certain topics. Dare I say it, smiling, laughing,
being ourselves,
being actually very honest and raw about issues that women face, that we have also been labeled as too liberal, as feminists. I think a couple of comments, maybe man haters, which is bizarre. Shocks me. Yeah. So
you guys are man haters. Just admit it, okay? You guys are. You guys don't even like the Prophet Muhammad, alayhi salatu salam.
This is something that I feel we definitely need to bring to the table. More and more sisters, more and more Muslim women are speaking up. They're doing things. They're out there. Talk to me. Sumaya, I know you have a lot to say.
It's just the question of why does it have to be at their expense? Why does it have to be perceived that way? So someone standing up for themselves, coming into their own, finding their voice, why does that have to be?
The real question, okay, this has to be... No, wait, hold on. Here's the question. If you're standing up for yourself, if you're doing this, right? If you're doing this, ask yourself, is it in alignment with the Quran and the Sunnah? That's what you will have to ask yourself before you go on these tirades. And I guarantee you, most of the time, what these people are doing is not in line with the Quran or the Sunnah. Okay, with it, a lot of time, what these women are doing and saying is not in line with the Quran and the Sunnah. Most of the time, it's not.
Why does it have to be seen as aggression towards someone else? And I think it's kind of the argument of whenever you see like religious leadership campaigning for one, humanitarian cause, they say, well, what about this country? Well, what about, it's this kind of by elimination, you didn't, include our point of view. And we were joking yesterday and I was saying, if you want to talk about your point of view, get your own show. Like, that's not what we're here. Yeah, I had to get, that's not what we're here to talk about. But the fact that these things need to be said, and as women, there's nothing wrong with you talking about your experience. There's nothing wrong with you talking about how you perceive things or what you go through. And it doesn't necessarily mean that you're saying it to dig at the guys or take something away from them. It's just, we're just talking about our experience.
So ask yourself, why did you put yourself in those experiences? Why did you put yourself in those experiences then? If you knew if you guys are so smart, right? If you guys are so smart, if you guys are smarter than men and things like that, why do you put yourself in the same experiences?
Is there some element of, it feels like insecurity? Like whenever someone stands up a little taller, we feel like, oh, you're trying to step on me.
So you hear it. I don't really need to say much else. Okay, you hear the who hurt, you hear the translation, who hurt you. You hear it. Okay, you actually hear it.
I don't see you. What's that
And granted, this video was 3 years ago, so their podcast or whatever that went wayside.
about? What do you think?
You know, it's interesting because women are as guilty, equally as guilty of labeling any woman who talks about female empowerment or female rights, right, as feminism, and it boggles my mind because women were handed greater rights with Islam.
Yes.
And yet, as Muslim women, in upholding our rights, we're feminists. If you want to really,
You are feminist because the thing is about upholding your rights. You're not giving your rights to your man. That's the whole thing. You're not giving the rights to the man. So miss me with that. That's where that's what they're leaving out. Okay, they're asking for their rights, but they're not prepared to give their rights or give the rights to the man. That's the part they're leaving out. Okay? So they're leaving out the fact that the man has the right for certain things, okay? And they're prepared to not give those men those rights for those certain things.
talk about, subhanallah, feminism. Like, is feminism actually female empowerment? They're not the same thing. Because out here, we're not saying that we are equal to men. We're not saying that we want to even become like men. Like, I like being a woman.
Yeah, same here.
Right? And
That's, you see how she said that kind of like, you see how she kind of said that in a kind of like kind of I want to say a condescending way, type way, like, you know, I I don't really like being a woman, but this is what I got, type thing. You hear that, right? You kind of hear that in her voice, right? You kind of you know how she said I feel the same, and she kind of said it in a little like weird kind of way, you know.
And thinking that a woman saying, I have a right, Allah has given me rights, and I want those rights to be upheld is feminism, is actually mockery, because you're mocking the Prophet ﷺ, who came and handed women these rights. You don't need to bury your girls alive anymore. Your women are actually to be treated and they have rights. They have a standing. Things like that. Subhanallah. So we're not actually purporting anything that wasn't already given to us.
Yeah, it's not new
from our deen, and it boggles my mind.
Yeah, what is new is that you guys are innovating, because what's innovating is that you guys are now asking for your rights, but you're not prepared to give the men their rights. So that's where the disconnect comes.
And why women feel that a woman speaking up is in some way trampling on a man.
I think it's because and I think this is actually more of a cultural stance rather than a religious one. I think within certain cultures within the ummah, a Muslim woman is to not be seen and not be heard. And a righteous woman is one who, lowers the volume of her voice, changes her tone, shouldn't speak, shouldn't be seen, and so on.
Do I need to write what Sheikh Ahmed Ubamba said about that? Yes, I'm gonna go pull it out again. I'm gonna pull it out again, because listen, as bad as this sounds, and this is gonna sound bad, okay? This is gonna sound bad. what I'm about to say, but it is what it is. I'd rather have a bromance with Sheikh Ahmed Ubamba than have romance with any of these modern Western Muslim women. I swear to Allah. Allah is my witness. I'd rather take the Quran and everything else rather than have a relationship with these modern Muslim Western women. I swear to Allah. Okay, give me that instead. And so, what did Sheikh Ahmed Ubamba say? They are really going against the Sunnah right now. They're really being rebellious. It's like, what the heck? Yeah, do they not read? Now I have to look up the darn information myself. Hold on, let me find it. Guess they don't read, man. Let me see. See what Sheikh Ahmed Ubamba said. Okay, let's see. And he said this about guys too, by the way. He said guys should practice guys should practice silence and everything like that. He said that as well. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Listen to what she just said. Okay, listen to what she just said.
The volume of her voice changes her tone rather than the religious one. I think within certain cultures within the ummah, a Muslim woman is to not be seen and not be heard. And a righteous woman is one who, lowers the volume of her voice, changes her tone, shouldn't speak, shouldn't be seen, and so on. And one thing that kind of comes to mind.
Okay, so Sheikh Ahmed Ubamba wrote a letter to his wife, like to his uncle's wife, and part of that letter was be constantly in a state of repentance, and do not deviate from the right path. Two key words: be discreet and reserved, and do not raise your voice. You will be rewarded for that. So who would I rather follow? A raging feminist, which they are on this podcast, or the truth in the booth?
For me is, when one of the female companions stood up and spoke, and she accounted Umar radiallahu anhu over a right that Allah Azza wa Jal had given to women. And so I wonder if it's a cultural thing that we have adopted this cultural stance that the Muslim woman should be an embodiment of haya, and that equates to zipping up and not speaking. But subhanallah, if we look back again at history, we see that the female companions, they spoke. They asked questions. They accounted when accounting needed to be done.
They were on the battlefield.
They were on the battlefield, subhanallah. So where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? And why is it that it becomes an issue?
They weren't like you guys, though. That's the whole difference. They weren't like you guys, okay? What they were doing was righteous. What you guys are doing is just not righteous at all. So that's the difference. So don't even say this about the companions or whatever. Leave them out of this, please. Please leave them out of it.
Like you said, like you rightly said, not just for brothers, not just for men, but also for some sisters as well. I mean, some sisters will slam other sisters down.
I don't get that one. I don't get it. I don't even have words. I don't get it. I don't get how a woman can see a woman rising oh wait, maybe it just points to her own insecurities. Yeah. Right? Maybe it points to those sisters are speaking up. That jars me, that irks me, because I can't do that myself.
Yeah, this to me is screaming shadow work, because I see you doing something that I have a rule I'm not allowed to do. And that is grating on me, because I'm not allowed to speak up. I'm not allowed to articulate. That is bad. That is arrogance. That's conceit. That's all of these labels. So when you do it, I want to judge you and jump down your throat. But inside of me, part of me has things to say, has things to contribute. And I think it's kind
No, it just has to do with a fear of God. That's what it has to do with. And it has to do with maybe, it has to do with like maybe not speaking up because they don't know the full knowledge of the topic, basically, as well, in which they're trying to speak up for.
it's hypocritical in the sense that in society we want this cultural understanding that you're talking about wants women not to go to get their university degrees or qualify or be professionals or contribute in the public sphere in any way, because the woman's place is at home or whatever.
Okay. In the Western culture, you've been incentivized to go outside of the house more than ever. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
But then we want the female doctor, we want the services, we want, so which one is it then? Which one is it? We have to get really clear about that. And it feels like a cop out. It feels intellectually lazy to, when I disagree with you or you say something that I think is out of line, I'm just going to shoot you down with a label and get you to just kind of stand down. I'm going to attack.
You guys do it with us all the time. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? I'll give you an example. Me and a friend of mine were in Clubhouse. We were actually discussing some soccer games. We were discussing that. There was a woman in the room while we were discussing these soccer games. What did she do? She says, "Tell me," and mind you, I guess she's supposed to be Muslim, but we know that, she did things opposite of Islam, of course. She said, "Tell me you don't get any pussy without telling me you don't get any pussy," simply because we were having a conversation about soccer, or what we call football. And I guess because it didn't involve her, it didn't revolve around her, she decided to give us a label. So you guys do it all the time. Stop it.
Attack you, and if you say something, I can just say you're a feminist. Oh, they're the feminists, and then we get the mob.
And
Bring the pitchforks.
Yeah, and what I think what's dangerous about that is that there's a lot of spiritual shaming. So sisters in particular will use the deen to spiritually shame another sister and place upon her a burden of guilt, as though Allah is looking down upon her. Allah has almost enacted his wrath upon her because she's gone to the extreme feminism. And for someone who isn't grounded within the foundation of their faith and the deen, that can affect their iman. It can affect their iman. It can affect their relationship with Allah. And this in particular, spiritual shaming, it really, really bothers me, because you're interfering between a soul and its Lord. And that's dangerous.
It's not spiritual shaming, because if you're adapting an ideology other than Islam, then you're in the wrong. Okay? You may disguise your speaking out or speaking up, saying men ain't this, men ain't that as Islam, but in reality, you're just using feminism and masking it as Islam.
Dangerous territory. You don't go there. You know, if you have your opinion, then that you're entitled to your opinion. If you believe that that is what is required of you in the sight of Allah, then that's fine. But then don't now go and interfere with someone else's level of faith and their soul and what they're offering to Allah just because they differ to you.
You know what that is purported as? Enjoining the good and forbidding.
There's and that is important.
But you guys don't know how to do that, so stop it. Stop it. Please stop it. Just please stop it.
Enjoining the good and forbidding the evil is important. But subhanAllah, again, when we look back, when was that ever done with blaming and blame and shame and such negativity and such pessimism? And no, it wasn't. Enjoying the good and forbidding the evil was clear, but it was done with character. With character. You when you see adab. I mean, subhanallah, when you find that, I'm gonna have to say it. Let me put my cup down.
It's getting serious.
No, because I remember season 1. After season 1, there were a group of sisters who I know, who I considered to be friends, not close friends. I have my close friends I can count on one hand, alhamdulillah, but I consider them to be friends, not close friends. And I heard it through the grapevine that they were saying, oh, look, Rayyan, look, Alia, she's changed. Look, I mean, she's wearing colored scarves now and she's on camera and, you know, she's no longer wearing niqab and, you know, and she's talking about all of these issues and she's become a feminist. And these were sisters that I would sit and drink tea with. And you know, this is, to me, this is not enjoining the good and forbidding the evil. This is it can be seen as backbiting, but it's also, again, it's you know what, I don't see that as anything. I don't see positivity in that at all. If you have, first of all, you have an issue with someone, or you believe that they're going to an extreme, address that person with good character. Come to them and say, you know what, this is what I believe, this is what I believe I see in you. Let's have a.
But you guys don't do that. So what are you talking about? You guys don't do that at all. You guys don't do that. So why are you even trying to like make something, like why are you trying to tell someone else to do something that you're not even doing yourself, that you guys don't even do yourself? Really, please make it make sense.
A discussion about it, but to spiritually shame, to go back and backbite, to assassinate someone's character based on a difference, what is this? And particularly when you're simply a Muslim woman who is speaking up about issues that affect your day-to-day life as a believing woman, and you're trying to actually draw people to Allah, you're trying to help women become healthier individuals. I don't know, it gets to me.
And what you're saying about spiritual shaming, you know, we have this kind of we see things on the surface. We say this person used to be like this and now they've gone off, you know, the religion, or they've changed, or they've gone this way, or they've gone that way. But you're not looking at the process that the person's going through. If someone has started speaking up, if someone is going through changes and adjusting and growing, and they're being met with this judgment and this criticism, and it's very easy to calculate and think, there's no space for me here. Someone like me is not welcome in the practicing realm, so I might as well, you know, I'm not on that deen vibe anymore, because I'm not welcome there and I'm not wanted there. There's no compassion, there's no understanding, it's all attacks, there's no conversation. So can we move to a space where there's less judgment and less attack? Can we have a nuanced discussion?
I guarantee you though, right? I guarantee you. Walaikum salam rahmatullah. I guarantee you, though, I guarantee you the women who are pushing back are married. I guarantee you the women who are pushing back are married women. I'm willing to bet the house on it. Okay. So this is why they're pushing back, because they don't want you to corrupt the rest of them. But you already have, so it's already a done deal. As I said, I don't care what anybody says. If hey, if you marry a Western Muslim woman, you're playing Russian roulette, bro. And I know it's during Ramadan and things like that, but hey, um, you know, I'm just gonna say Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba, may Allah be pleased with him, continues to open my eyes to more and more things. And I'm thinking to myself, man, like I've since a little kid, my parents were always like pushing Ahmadou Bamba down my throat. And I was just like, man, enough with that. Carry that somewhere else. But now I understand why they do it. Now I understood why they do it. It was always him and Usman Danfodio. Man, Allah be pleased with them both. Always pushing them, always making me read. I'm like, man, carry that somewhere else, man. I'm not trying to read this. But now I understand why they do it. Why they did it. Because of this.
If I throw a label at you and just say you're crazy, I'm not seeing what's going on with you. What's the matter? What led you to this? What are you thinking? Maybe help me understand you better. Is different.
Okay, so I want to say something about that too. When you see them bashing men and see them doing that and stuff like that, they're not telling you about the men that they chose. Okay, they're not telling you. That's what they're not telling you. They're not telling you that they went behind their parents' back and then they did the nikah, or they went and got a wali, like who they barely even knew. They're not telling you these things, okay? They're not telling you that. They're not telling you that they were complacent, that they were complicit in the problems that they have. That's the thing.
Different than you're just crazy and I'm going to dismiss you and call you names. That's a cop out.
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's just lazy.
It is lazy. And when I've seen it in comments on YouTube, and it's wonderful on YouTube because you can hide behind any identity, right? All the trolls and everybody comes out.
The roaches.
Yeah.
Come out.
I would have gone there, but
when the lights go off.
Yes. But especially on YouTube, how it's not, so you've got a video, you probably haven't even watched the video, right? You've seen the title only, and you've seen a woman with hijab, and you've put the two together and decided she's a feminism, and you use that to just label her without actually, one, maybe even watching the content and consuming the content, but two, engaging in a conversation that's intellectual and
healthy and wholesome.
You can disagree with people and still engage in a dialogue to understand, not to get them to switch. You don't have to engage people to agree with you and to have your opinion, but for you to expand your understanding.
Right.
Whether you adopt that or not is irrelevant, but you allowing yourself to expand in understanding. I've had that in conversations with I think there was a brother who posted something on a video that I had been on, and I really appreciated his comment. Like the way he was so well laid out, completely opposite to what I was saying in the video, but I appreciate the way he came with his comment and said da 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 da. And I was like, you know what, brother? Thank you so much for laying it out like that. I actually appreciate your perspective.
And you're then more open to
and
consider
I can take
his
that
points.
perspective on and see that there's another angle to what I believe, even if I still hold my own belief,
So now they're trying to dictate how a man comments. Bro, I'll tell it straight down the middle. Listen, I'm a straight shooter. I'll tell him you're wrong. I'll tell them that you need to shut up. Okay? I'll tell them to fear Allah. And that's what I'm saying about this video. That's what I'm saying about this video is that, like, if they didn't push this line or whatever the case may be, then they wouldn't be having all these comments in the comment section with the sisters. Oh yeah, that's right. This, that, and the other one.
This is how we engage and this is how we grow. When you just throw a label down, you're not aiming to grow. You're not aiming to understand. You're not aiming to engage. You're actually just aiming to shut that person down.
It's simply a projection of
and
what's
it's really
going.
immature.
Yeah. It's a projection as well.
I say, for me, when I see men specifically doing this, women too, but when I see men specifically doing this, I think it calls to something going on with your ego. And there are going to be men who watch this and no, ego, that's you're talking about. Okay. It speaks to something in your ego. Something is being.
No, it speaks to something in our iman. Because if we're trying our best to follow the best example, okay, and what we mean by the best example, we mean the Prophet Muhammad and his companions and those righteous predecessors that came after them, then yeah, it's gonna upset you that you're doing these things. Yeah, it's gonna upset you that you see women doing these things. Of course it is, because it's off the path. So it has nothing to do with ego. It has to do with actually stop misleading people. That's what it has to do with. It has nothing to do with ego.
Being hurt. And you're seeing a woman speaking out. When you see a woman, or if you see a woman speaking about something or sharing something and it jars you and it leads you to immediately think, oh my God, she's such a feminist. Check yourself, because there is something in there that's a mess. And that
Oh, so now you're a spiritual guy? Now you're a spiritual guy? You know what's going on in our heart now? You're whatchamacallit? You're a master now? You're a shaker? You know what's going on? Maybe we have evidence for what we say. Maybe that's just it. Maybe we can pull up the Sahih. Maybe we have Isnad, chain of narrations that is in alignment with what we talk about. Maybe that's why we're saying certain things.
a feeling is actually a call and invitation to check it and to work on it, to get curious and to see what exactly about what she said, what is it exactly about how she's dressed that's jarring me. Right? Because you can say, oh, women should be dressed like this, or women should be, you're not her husband. So that ghira of her, you're not her husband, right? That's her husband's, her father, her brother's role. You as an outside Muslim man, you actually have no say in how she dresses or how she puts herself out there. But you want to check yourself, what is it really that's being disrupted within you that you feel that you need to write, you're such a hijabi feminist. That's what I've seen. Swear down.
Yeah, that's it.
Hijabi. And it's spelt like that. That's what I'm saying.
It's said with that.
Okay, so the fact of the matter is you guys are hijabi feminists. I mean, that's just the bottom line, because again, you're not talking, the thing is you're not even talking about like women's issues, because there really aren't any women's issues. You guys made them, you guys turned them into issues. That's the whole thing. You guys turned them into issues. As a matter of fact, what you guys did is you looked for issues when there weren't even any issues there. We already had the blueprint. You guys just messed up the blueprint, okay? We had the blueprint. The blueprint was already set. Everything was already set. Everything was already written. Everything was already orchestrated. But you guys messed up the blueprint. And the reason why you messed up the blueprint is because you decided you wanted to act like people who were outside of the blueprint, aka Karen, Keisha, and Lucentius Ling Ling and Masculine Maria under the Western guise. That's why you messed up the blueprint. Other than that, it's really pretty simple, bro. That's the thing. They made it the thing that they did, the thing that they did, the Western Muslim woman did, and that's what Shaitan likes to do too, is they made the simple complicated. You know, they made the good simple complicated. They made the bad simple easy. Because honestly, it's real easy, bro. That's the thing. The gender relations in Islam is really easy, bro. It's just that they made it complicated. Okay. We have the rules. We know what we need to do. Um, you know, especially I follow the school of the Maliki Madhab of Malik ibn Anas. May Allah be pleased with him. And I was given the game. Okay. I was given the game of what a wife's rights are and things like that, and what my rights are as a husband. But no, they don't believe that it applies. Some of them don't believe that it applies. Well, not some of them, a lot of them do. Um, I wouldn't doubt it, bro. I wouldn't doubt it. You know, I really wouldn't doubt it. You know, I really wouldn't doubt this. I really wouldn't doubt that at all.
Yeah. But you know what has gone unnoticed and hasn't been spoken about is, so you have all of these sisters speaking up. They have found their voice and they want to use it. What we're not talking about, what we're not bringing to the table, and this is with brothers and sisters, is what on earth is going on in the lives of individuals, within families, society at large, that women have to find their voice and say something, and they feel desperate to do so.
What is going on in society is feminism, bro. Like, what do you not realize what they're doing? You have to understand, they know what's going on in society. They're living in the Western society, yet they're acting like this is something new, that this is an epiphany. Like, aha, this is why women are talking like this. Aha, this is why. No, it's not why. You guys make the choices. You guys decide. Okay. You guys decide. It's really mind boggling, bro. It really is. It's mind boggling.
We're not talking about the lead up, the backstory that's leading Muslim women to the point that they feel, if I don't speak up now, my daughters and
Yeah, y'all ain't having no daughters. Cut it out. And the reason why they're deciding to speak up is because they're imitating non-Muslim women. That's why. Cut it out. Y'all ain't having no daughters, man. To be honest, the last nikah that I've been to in the West was, I think, last year. It was only one. I've only been a look in the last. Yeah, in the last year, I only went to one nikah, bro. Only went to one in the last year. Only went to one. So yeah, you can stop it with that, my guy. That's not happening.
their daughters are going to suffer. I need to break the generational trauma. It needs to stop here. The cycle cannot continue. We're not talking about these things. All we're seeing, all we're hearing rather, Our brothers and sisters saying, "Oh, you're a feminist because you're talking about this. You're extreme because you've come out and you're being seen." And but hold on a second. Why are we doing honesty talk?
The fact that we have to do something.
And
like
why
this.
is
No, the fact that you're incentivized to do something, okay? The fact, here's the thing, they don't like the religion, okay? They don't like the religion. That's why, by the mercy and the grace of Allah and things like that, like if I can give a percentage of how far like my foot is out of the door, I would say it's more than half. I'm just getting some other things in line, but it's more than half. I can say that. Okay. I can definitely say that. But anyhow, that's beside the point. But no, you don't have to do anything. Okay. The women of the Prophet's time, alayhi salatu salam, they would tell their issues to maybe the men and stuff like that, but then the men would handle it. But they were actually real issues. You guys make issues. That's the whole thing. You guys make issues. You guys like make issues out of thin air that are not even going on. Yeah, that's what you guys do. That's what you guys do. You guys take other communities' issues and make them your own issues. Decide to make them your own issues. That's what you guys do.
it? I mean, just talking about honesty talk.
Yeah.
Why is it that honesty talk? I mean, Alhamdulillah, and all praise is due to Allah, and nothing can come about except by His permission. All of the views that you see on YouTube with Honesty Talk, they're all organic. We have never spent a single penny on an ad. That shows you that people, and again, it's by Allah's permission, people are resonating with what we're saying. Why is it Muslim and non-Muslim, sisters and brothers, why is it that Honesty Talk has become what it's become? Because
to those brothers, they're soft anyway. If they resonate with what they're saying, then they've been cucked. That's the bottom line. They've been cucked. They've been pretty much they pretty much have been castrated at that point. They're cucked. They're eunuchs, as they say. They became eunuchs because I don't resonate with a single solitary thing that they're saying at all. Okay. Well, they never want to be well. You know the saying, "I feel like," that you never hear a woman say, "I think." You always hear them say, "I feel like," "I feel like," "I feel like." You never hear them say, "Well, I think in this way." That's the whole thing. That's the reason why. Okay.
people are going through things. The rights that Allah Azza wa Jal the rights that Allah Azza wa Jal has given to women in particular are not being met. And as a result of that, souls are breaking, families are falling apart.
Okay, you're saying the rights aren't being met, but you're choosing people who can't meet those rights. That's the thing. You're choosing people who listen, listen. These same Muslim women saying this would rather choose they would rather skip a hafiz, okay? And go to a Thug Max Alpha simp because they're into that. So you know what I'm saying? If you pen set, like yeah, man, I don't really be praying my 5 prayers, but I try. Allah know my heart and stuff like that, man. But I be on some other stuff. I be involved in different things, so I can't really pray my 5 prayer. I can't really be doing my fasting, because I be out in the trenches. You know what I'm saying? So I can't really be doing that. But I try my best. But it's hard out here. It's crazy out here in the streets. This is what the sisters aren't telling you that they go for. They're not going for a hafiz. They're not going for a faqih. Okay. In fact, when it comes to the religious sciences and in the nuances, like for example, the when it comes to the Quran, hold on, let me see. Let me see. Actually, let me pull something out. Let me pull something up with that. Hold on, let me see. You haven't even heard in this talking. You haven't even heard them say Quran once. You haven't even heard them say it. Hold on. Hold on just a minute. Hold on, let me see something. I want to give a quick example. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, so hold on. Hold on just a minute. There's two things I want to say real quick. And it goes back to the Quran though. Okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you, all right? I'm gonna be completely real with you. And I'm not trying to slander the Muslim woman. Okay, I'm not trying to slander. It's just this is people in the UK, family in the UK have told me that this is what goes on. So, for example, a man, a Muslim man, right, can be Hafiz in Quran. He can be very meticulous, particular, tedious about the memorization of Quran, the canonical readings of Quran, the morphology, the syntax, the logic, the rhetoric, when it came to the the rights of the Quran, right? And a Muslim woman won't give a care. She will not care. I'm telling you, she will not give a crap. But if you fit, again, a Thug Max Alpha Simp, you're in there. I'm gonna be honest, you're in there.
Apart. Children are leaving the deen. Women are depressed. But we're not talking about that. All we're saying is that when someone chooses to speak up about it, you're wrong. You're leaving
And
the
it-
deen.
and it's the
You're
roots
causing us,
that
but
we
we're
need
not
to
looking
address.
at the
We're not addressing the
roots,
root.
and that's important. It's very, very important.
And this is what we are
The roots are feminism, but you're too prideful to see that.
disruptive. Yeah, we're disrupting the narrative of remaining, allowing the status quo to be as it is. You know, we are coming and
I mean, the status quo works in your favor. So what are you on about? That's what I'm not getting about these women. Like what? Like I'm just really wondering. Like, what do you want? I'm, and again, it goes back to the point that shaytaan is a master of confusion. Like I'm really confused because if you're a Western Muslim woman, you're literally given everything. Okay, you're given everything that you're literally the world, as they say, the world is your oyster at this point. So I'm not really getting what kind of oppression or what kind of thing you're what. And most of the time, you're not gonna have it through your family either, because they've already bought the sauce too. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm telling you, I really don't get it.
saying no more. Actually, it doesn't have to be like, actually, this actually is not healthy. This thing that we've been going around doing is not normal and it's not healthy. Just because it has been going on like that for so long, it doesn't mean that that's the right way. And so we're coming and saying, hey, we're shining a light on all the uncomfortable bits, all the bits that we've always tried to hide. We're doing that, and then we're being told, sit down, you're feminists. Because it's uncomfortable. That's what it is.
No, because you guys are feminists. Okay, that's the bottom line. You guys are feminists. That's why you're on the show alone.
But you know what? I like the word that you use, disruption. When you said that, the first thing that came to mind was, when Allah Azza wa Jal sent the prophets to disrupt the pattern of jahiliyyah, of ignorance, to disrupt. There has in the course of humankind, in the course of history, there had to be people. I mentioned prophets, but
It's not you guys though. Okay. And guess what? They were men. They were men. They were logical as well. That's the thing that you're leaving out. Is that they were logical. They were also sent by God to do it. All right. And Allah never sent a woman to do a man's job. So you need to sit down. You need to fear your Lord and stop it. I don't know where they are right now. I don't know what happened to their show, but if this was going on back then, 3 years ago, you only know how bad it is right now today. Okay.
but we're talking about even figures. There has to be people. There has to be people that come and like you said, they shine a light on the misgivings, on the rights that are not being fulfilled, and it's important. And you know what?
You ever notice how in this whole thing that they've been going on, right? They never named a right that was actually not fulfilled. They never actually named one. They never actually said, okay, this is what's going on. They never said it, So I'm trying to figure out what is actually going on. What right is not being fulfilled? That's what I want to know. Please tell us.
It's only much later that people see, that was needed, that was necessary. Samaya, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking that what you guys are saying about having the conversation and getting to the root cause I'm also thinking about what you said. What's going on for you that you're having this visceral reaction to seeing someone speak out about something as basic as getting God-given rights, or why does this grate on you? And it just makes me think of like the punishment for a crime. If we're talking about cutting off the hand of a thief, for example, who should be losing their mind over this? Is someone who has a plan to steal or steals. Like everyone else should feel like, should feel like, okay, I don't want my stuff stolen. I think people deserve the right to the safety of their property. So why should I be flipping out about this unless you plan to be shortchanged in somebody's rights? You profit from this in some way. Why does this jeopardize what's going on? So women getting what Allah has decided is allowed for them shouldn't take away from anyone else.
No, it doesn't.
But it shouldn't eat at you. It shouldn't bother you. That and the nuanced discussion aspect of it.
So I want to know, the thing I would ask them too. This is the one question I would ask them, and they probably couldn't answer it. Well, like what? Yeah, what are your rights? What are your rights? What are you enjoying to have? And I guarantee you, if I told them their rights, right? And I guarantee you, if I told them that you're supposed to, it's a responsibility for you to be educating your deen, but I pull out the books of fiqh and things like that, there would be some things that would go that they wouldn't like, that they wouldn't agree with. I guarantee you. I'm willing to bet money on it. And part of their rights is education, but they probably wouldn't even take the religious education. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. But let's continue.
HTT is starting the conversation. As an ummah, we need to be open enough. We need to be secure enough, because, part of me needing to say we need to borrow from feminism, like Islam is short, so I need to borrow from here and there to cover. It's covered, but we need to wear it properly in the first place. And
this is gonna be like
this is a thing. And
no, absolutely.
We need to do it properly. That, and we need to get to a place where we're able to have these discussions about the shortfall without it being an attack. Because now that we can say, okay, we do have a problem when it comes to women feeling secure enough to say what's going on for them. When someone speaks up about abuse in the community, it shouldn't be jarring to anyone except someone who's a potential or past abuser.
Right.
Everyone else should be up in arms about this.
Absolutely.
And say, you know what, we stand with them, and let's put actual practical things in place to secure, let's get behind this and support it. It should open up more discussion. It shouldn't be like, oh, shut it down. So this is moving to a place of open conversation. We can't fix the issues that our ummah is facing if we're continually trying to sweep them under the rug.
Yes.
We gotta reach a place where we're secure enough in that what Allah gave us will suffice us. So let's embrace it like wholeheartedly. We don't need to pick and choose. No. We don't need to audit and censor. We just do it right.
Yeah. You guys do pick and choose all the time. What are you talking about? That's all y'all do is pick and choose. Okay. For example, when it comes to polygamy, y'all pick and choose on that. When it comes to cordial relations, y'all pick and choose on that. When it comes to praying and things like that, and actually reading the hadiths, and actually asking for what you guys are asking for in marriage, you guys pick and choose on that as well. So what are you guys on about? Continue.
Yeah, and when it's done right, then there wouldn't be a need for people to rise and stand and correct and, you know, because it's being done right. It's
They would
being
be
worn
secure.
properly. Everyone
Yeah.
would be secure, exactly. So I think I think this I'm so glad that we decided to speak about this, because there are sisters who are afraid to speak up. They're afraid to venture out almost because they're going to be slammed by their community as being unreligious, as having become too liberal, as you know, becoming a feminist. And I think it's really, really important that we identify that there is mess, and that mess needs to be addressed, and there's nothing wrong with addressing it. And by the mere fact of addressing it doesn't mean that you are X, Y, and Z.
So now they're trying to encourage others to do it. That's the crazy thing.
Right? Layinko, your thoughts?
I was just thinking that when we finally fix all our mess, we can just retire.
There's nothing to discuss. There's nothing to discuss. No more talk.
We can enjoy.
We can just
can
watch
progress.
the view,
We
you
can,
know? But you know, on a serious note, wouldn't it be refreshing where we can talk about the beauty of it all, where we can see our children basking in the light of being themselves, upholding each other's rights? Wouldn't it be wonderful to have those kind of discussions, to be in those circles where we can make dua for Allah to just prolong and bless and increase it for us? Wouldn't it be amazing? It's the nature of this world, we know. But just, you know, just thinking back to the topic of female empowerment or female voices being an act of feminism. I say, I'm not out here telling any woman to burn her bra. I'm just telling her to wear a better fit.
Hey, I know, right? Quotable.
And that's it.
Yeah.
We're not out here telling women to hate men. We don't hate men.
No, we don't.
Yeah, you do. Shut up. Yeah, you do. Because there wouldn't even be a need to say that if you didn't hate men. That's the thing. Like, that's a telltale sign of someone who has the shaytaan. Is that they'll say, for example, they'll say, "Oh, I'm not a feminist," and then they'll have feminist talking points. Or they'll say, "Oh, I don't hate men," and then their whole show is just about bashing men. Like, they're trying to be like very sneaky, but yeah, you do hate men. Because if you didn't hate men, you would be married and you probably wouldn't be talking on this show.
For the record, we don't hate men. We're not out here telling women to hate men. We know that men and women need each other. We need each other, right?
No, we don't. To be honest, I don't need a woman. You know, the thing is, the Prophet Muhammad, he had women because yes, they help with a mission, but who did Allah create first? He created Adam first. Okay. If women were needed, Allah, you know, I don't know how, you know, Allah is basically beyond our comprehension. But if a man and women were needed each other, then Allah would have created both at the same time, probably. You know, but he created Adam first, alayhi salam. So obviously Adam was fit enough to do the work. And and when you look at it too, Isa alayhi salam, he did not marry. He did it alone. Solo dolo. Okay? So stop it.
We're meant to work together, not against each other. So we're not out here telling women, oh, hate all men are trash, all men are... No, that's not our narrative. And I think people have misheard us and misheard what we have said, especially in the first 2 seasons, as labeled us as man haters. We're not man haters. We're out here wanting everyone, man, woman, to come correct.
Yes.
That's it.
Why.
Come.
So, you know,
Altoids, curiously strong.
you know, then the question is then, right? What were they saying in those seasons that would make you think that they hate men? That has to be the question. Let's try to look and see. Let's see. Well, maybe I'll come back tomorrow, inshallah. I've been on here for like 2 hours now. But write in the comment section what you want me to talk about tomorrow. I'll probably like just do some kind of open thing. If you want to collab, I'm welcome to having people up on stage. If you have any ideas that we can tackle together, if you have any ideas that you think that maybe I can contribute on, then let me know. But yeah, I'm just gonna like shut it down because yeah, I've been going on for like 2 hours. But yeah, inshallah, I'm gonna shut it down. Um, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow with another one probably. And yeah, with that being said, salam alaikum, barka suring tuba, diradet suring tuba bottom.